Hello everybody, and welcome to another tutorial. Today we're just going to look at why you should split your fundamental away from your saw for your Psytrance basses. So, firstly, we've got a saw bass, standard Psytrance bass here with some effects on it, and I'm just going to grab an oscilloscope so you can see what's going on. So, at the moment, we have our regular saw bass, and it looks like this. So it's quite a nice shape. It's perfectly good, nothing wrong with it. But if we copy A to B, and then if we remove everything but the fundamental from this one, and then remove the fundamental from this first oscillator, so now we've got the exact same thing but split over two oscillators. So the wave shape should still be exactly the same. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing. We've just split our fundamental away from the rest of our saw. So there's some really useful stuff this allows us to do. Firstly, this allows us to change the phase of our fundamental independently from the rest of our saw, which might not sound that useful, but actually it means we can squeeze a lot more loudness out of our bass line. So at the moment, our bass line is hitting minus 13.1, but if I just chuck the mod wheel onto the phase and play with that a little bit, as you can see on the oscilloscope, the waveform is much more compact now. And we're also hitting about minus 14.6 rather than minus 13. So we've gained about a decibel and a bit of headroom just from shifting the phase. So we'll be able to push our bass further before it hits any limiters or effects like that. So another reason why it's quite useful to split the fundamental away is that we can, if we have a jumping bass line, sort of lots of different notes being played, often an issue is that some notes will appear to have a lot more present sub than other notes, so we can put a Keytracking modulation onto our level for our fundamental, and in that way we can set it up so that, well, it depends on your liking, but generally I would have the lower, like if you use pretty low keys like C sharp and stuff, you want to have generally less fundamental going on down in those, and then as it goes up into sort of A area or G, you want to have a decent bit of fundamental. So another really useful thing you can do is, as you can see, I'm not actually filtering this second oscillator, and the reason I've chosen to do that is because, as an example, if I just take this sine wave and we look at the wave on the oscilloscope, I'll turn all the processing off. You'll notice that when we filter it, it actually affects the pitch of the wave. And for those of you who are saying, no it's not, it's just shifting in phase, well, if we take a duplicate of it, we can see that when we don't filter this sine wave, both the sine waves are almost, well, they are identical. One's just a millisecond or something before the other. That's because there's some glitch with the delay compensation. But if we choose to filter it, we can clearly see that the end of the wave is getting shifted away. So the pitch is going down progressively as we go through. So by choosing not to filter our fundamental, we're creating a more consistent sub bass, and it's much easier to align the sub of a kick in terms of phase with the bass line if the bass isn't changing pitch as it goes. So finally, something that some people like to do is they like to pitch their fundamental differently to the rest of their bass line. So this isn't something that's super common, but many people know it from a particular prog track that I won't name. But for instance, in that track, they chose to pitch their sub up, or their fundamental up by 5 semitones. I think it was 5 anyway. And this meant that they could have a particularly low bass line with more full sort of low mids, low frequencies going on. So, which can sound quite good sometimes. So, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. If you're interested in this bass patch, it'll be available in my Psytrance Bass Volume 1 pack, which was coming out very soon. And otherwise, have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.